US Secretary of State Antony Blinken and British Foreign Minister David Lammy met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in Kyiv on Wednesday, amid heightened air raid alerts to discuss military support and Ukraine's war objectives. During the visit, Blinken announced $700 million in new US aid, including significant support for Ukraine's energy grid, alongside broader assistance for the country's defense needs. Talks focused on Ukraine's request for long-range missile strikes into Russia, though no immediate decision was reached.
We're announcing $325 million in new funding to help repair Ukraine's energy and electric grid. And we'll rally additional support from the G7 plus countries when we have a meeting of the Energy Coordination Group in the next couple of weeks. I'm also announcing today $290 million in new humanitarian support to help provide vital services. And finally, we're announcing $102 million in additional funding in humanitarian demining to help remove landmines and unexploded ordnance that Russia's left behind across Ukraine.
Zelensky has repeatedly sought approval from Western allies to deploy US aid, made ATACMS and British Storm Shadow missiles against targets deep inside Russia. Lammy, standing alongside Blinken and Ukraine's Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha, said military support discussions would continue, but any decisions on long-range strikes could take more time. Despite Ukraine's urgent appeals, Lammy indicated that decisions on long-range weapons could take weeks. Zelensky, when asked about the chances of a breakthrough, said it depended on the optimism of Ukraine's allies, signaling frustration at the slow pace of support. There's hope for strong decisions soon, Zelensky told reporters. Later, on Telegram, he described the talks as significant and said Ukraine's concerns on long-range weapons and frontline support were clearly communicated. Concerns over escalating the conflict by lifting restrictions on long-range strikes remain in Washington and European capitals, even as Ukraine pushes for more firepower to turn the tide in the war. Russia has warned that allowing Ukraine to strike deep into its territory with Western-supplied missiles would make the US and its allies direct participants in the war. Vyacheslav Volodin, Speaker of Russia's parliament, reiterated this stance, warning of consequences. President Joe Biden hinted at potential flexibility, saying the US was working that out now when asked about long-range weapons for Ukraine, suggesting room for negotiation. Air raid sirens went off twice during Blinken and Lammy's visit to Kyiv, both before and after their press conference. A planned wreath-laying ceremony was cancelled. The alerts were reportedly tied to potential missile threats, though no strikes were confirmed. On the battlefield, Russian forces are making slow gains in the east. After a surprise Ukrainian incursion into Russian-held territory last month, Kyiv's counteroffensive has lost momentum. On Wednesday, a senior Russian commander claimed his forces had regained control of 10 settlements, though Ukraine has not confirmed the reports. Zelensky is expected to travel to the US later this month to meet President Biden and present his strategy for ending the war. His trip comes as Ukraine continues to lobby for increased Western support to shift the balance in the conflict. Ukraine's push for long-range strikes and increased military aid remains at the center of discussions with its Western partners. While the US and Britain deliberate over their next steps, Kyiv is racing against time as Russian advances in the east test its defenses.